All right, hello. Apologies for not getting the angle quite right. Oh, okay. Just that quick. Since I was on there earlier today, YouTube has apparently changed how their menu looks when you click your profile. So fun times. Just be aware of that. Let me pop out my chat. And I also have realized that I have like all my volumes way down. So apologies for the beeps that you're about to get. I just was not ready. I was just not quite ready. But that's okay. We'll get there. It is Friday. Happy Friday. And tomorrow is the full moon for October. So also happy almost full moon. How we doing? Are we doing okay? Is it feeling like a fun Friday? Is it a work Friday? What are we doing today? I know that I am going to be hopefully I'm going to try and do a little editing today because I was in an editing mood yesterday because I'm going to be honest, I was avoiding putting away my laundry because that's what I do. I procrastinate. And so I am procrastinating putting my laundry away, but by doing editing. But I'm also procrastinating with the outline for Chimera Moon Book 3. I've got most of it worked up, but it's not fully done. I'm procrastinating. So I'm trying to be still productive while procrastinating. So I'm going back and doing some editing for another work in progress. So that's what we're doing. We are procrastinating by being productive. What is it that Mama Maggie calls it? Procrastinativity? No. I'm trying to remember what it is that Mama Maggie calls it. But either way, that's what we're doing. We're procrastinating, we're dawdling, we're still being productive, but we're not doing the thing we should be doing. That's how it goes. Becca says, hello, and working on homework today. You're hoping to finish it by the end of the stream. Nice. That would be lovely because then you could have the weekend to yourself. Randy says, hi, hello, welcome. And Francis says, hello, hello. And CB says, hello, hello. Morgan is here and says, hi, hi. British summertime ends this Sunday. That's right. Yeah. Is there? I know we were talking about the different like fallbacks and when those happen. Okay, so you're falling back on the 29th. I know several people were saying that they just do it at the first of the month, like 1st of October, 1st of March or April or whenever. I'm trying to remember where in the world that was though. Either way, Cool Gamer says, hey, hello, welcome. Daylight savings ends, I have it in my notebook, for the future log. It ends on the 5th, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So, yeah. That's when it happens. I have my long-term notebook out because I needed something else. But it just, it's like now that I'm sitting here, I can only access reachable portions of my desktop. So it's getting set aside for later, like everything else. Becca says, I'm also procrastinating. Yes. I mean, we fall into it so easily, or at least I do, which is why my handle is, my username is what it is. But yeah. So Brick, hello, welcome. Happy spooky season weekend. Yes, happy spooky season weekend to you as well. Morgan says, I want to get some writing done, but I'm hungry. Is it procrastination if it's to eat dinner? No, because you need sustenance to be able to think creatively. So I give you permission to eat in case you needed it. Kat says, heyo, hello, welcome. Thank you again for the spreadsheet. I just really appreciate it every time. Francis says, also procrastinating by snacking on clementines. Ooh, nice. But you'll maybe do some editing today. Gotcha. 5th of November, aka the first Sunday of Nano. True. Yes, it is. Because Nano starts on a Wednesday. So yeah. I need to make thumbnails for the Nano streams. That needs to happen. Kat says, I've been playing Animal Crossing all morning because you're participating in a write-a-thon. Also fair. You know, you got to get your creativity and your relaxation in. You've got to get your sort of like your brain rest time in some ways. So yeah. Hell yeah, an excuse to avoid responsibility. Well, I mean, I think feeding yourself is also a responsibility. So, you know, feeding ourselves is good. Yeah. It's got to happen at some point. So, alrighty. We do need sprinty sprints. We need several sprinty sprints today. But we also need an oracle card. That's what we need. Oracle, tarot, whatever you desire. If you want to pull your own, go for it. I'm pulling from the Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracle deck. That's our sort of reliable go-to. Oh, nice. Okay. We have the cow spirit, but in the inverse or upside down spirit, upside down position. So let me get our little backing sheet so that you can actually see the cow in all her glory, and also find the correct page. CB says, yeah, I'm going to have to eat something else too because I snoozed and now I have the munchies. Yeah, understandable. Going to go deal with the munchies, yes. All right, so here is our lovely little cow. Miracles are endless is the main message, but in the inverse position, if I can talk, the cow spirit asks you to pay attention to how you nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit, because right now you are wobbling around like a newborn calf on its unsteady legs. Yeah, I think if you have not eaten, you need to eat. Perhaps you've been spending too much time distracting yourself on the internet, or obsessing over a relationship, or choosing to eat food that is not healthy. Whatever it is, you are being nudged to assess how you are looking after your needs. Remember that the universe has a way of reflecting back to you events and conditions that match how you treat yourself. The cow reminds you that the universe wants to give you the very best, but needs you to do your part to participate and nourish your own well-being. Heed her message and everything will shift in your favor. Okay, so I feel real called out because my lunch was not very healthy. I mean, I threw some mushrooms in there, so it was healthier than it would have been. But again, not real healthy. But here's our cow spirit staring lovingly at you, saying, "Are you sure that you want to doom scroll for another hour? Are you sure you want to eat that 20th Reese's peanut butter cup?" You know, all that. Are you sure that you want to continue to criticize yourself? Well, anyway, now that we have been exposed to our daily dose of being called out, Cow Spirit has spoken the truth. The cards are beautiful and scarily accurate. Yeah, that is what we have found, is that particular deck of cards is hits home for quite a few of us pretty often. So, yeah. Okay. Which that also sort of reminds me that the universe has a way of reflecting back to you events and conditions that match how you treat yourself. I picked up at the recommendation of a friend and friend's mom. I picked up a copy of The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel von der Kolk, medical doctor. And I have had that on my TBR for quite a while. So it's another reminder that I should probably read it. I also saw it on somebody's Instagram in the last week. I think twice. So I think maybe that needs to be my next nonfiction read. Because apparently the universe is sending me signs. But yeah. So have any of you read the book? Is it on your TBR? Have you heard of it? Yeah, I guess. Anyway, brain needs to get in gear. So before I pull up the timer, I am going to pull up my documents. Becca says, I have not heard of that. So it's supposed to be that our like the traumas, physical, but as well as emotional and mental, those will often show up as physical ailments later. And so there tends to be a pattern between the, hang on, let me actually just grab it because I know where it is. All right. Okay, so this is the Body Keeps the Score. Trying to again focus on so Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma, Bessel van der Kolk. Let me actually see if I can find the link to it. But yeah, so it's all about the patterns of how your response to your emotions, your emotional toll of things. Let me just Amazon it because that's probably the. Yep. How do you know? Okay, so there is also an audiobook version of it for $6, which is not bad. But anyway, so I will copy the link and paste the link. There we go. Yeah, so there's a Kindle version, audiobook, hardcover, paperback, and there's also apparently a spiral bound. In case you prefer spiral bound for your, I mean, I suppose it could be kind of like a textbook. So maybe if you treat your books like that, maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But yeah, so it's trauma is a fact of life. Veterans and their families deal with the painful aftermath of combat. 1 in 5 Americans has been molested. 1 in 4 grew up with alcoholics. 1 in 3 couples have engaged in physical violence. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, one of the world's foremost experts on trauma, has spent over 3 decades working with survivors. In The Body Keeps the Score, he uses recent scientific advances to show how trauma literally reshapes both body and brain, compromising sufferers' capacity for pleasure, engagement, self-control, and trust. He explores innovative treatments from neurofeedback and meditation to sports, drama, and yoga that offer new paths to recovery by activating the brain's natural neuroplasticity. Based on Dr. van der Kolk's own research and that of other leading specialists, the body keeps the score, exposes the tremendous power of our relationships both to hurt and to heal, and offers a new hope for reclaiming lives. So it's supposed to not only show you what the different patterns are of like where your traumas are showing up, but also kind of offer some possible solutions, which is nice. So Megan says, "Oh, that's a great book." Okay, good. So we do have a recommendation from, because I haven't read it yet. It's just been sitting on my TBR. We've had a couple of therapists suggest it, right? And the family that suggested it to me, the mother of my friend, was a medical doctor and then also got a counseling degree. So still recommends it. So yeah. So this is, I guess I'm going to toss it over my bed because that needs to be my evening read, or at least start it this evening. I don't think I'll make my whole way through that for today, but anyway. So yeah, so that's my next non-fic read, I think. Yeah. Alrighty. And hello, Megan. Welcome. All right. So now that we have discussed that, let's start with a spooky teapot. I managed to make it to Rachel's stream yesterday, and she was using some of my farting critters and my dancing skeleton timer, and it made me happy. All right, so let's do this. 1, save your document if you've already been working. If not, now's a great time to pull up whatever document or documents that you think you might be working on today. 2, make sure that you have something to hydrate with. And sorry, I'm getting everything pulled up, which is what I should have done earlier. But anyway, so 2, make sure you have something to drink and take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one, especially if you need to go get food. All right, here we go. 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Spooky. All right. Okay, that was I think a pretty good sprint. See if I can figure out how much. Okay, 580, not bad. Again, this is editing, so I'm not changing a huge amount, but I am adding a couple of details here and there, cleaning up pronoun usage, that kind of thing. I struggle with sometimes when I write a scene or a paragraph where I am trying to describe the actions of two people of the same gender. I find that if I don't want to be using names every 3 seconds, it can get a little confusing. So I tend to have to go back and figure out, one, who's the she or he that I was talking about, and two, sort of parse out how to rearrange the paragraph to be a little bit more clear so that you know who is doing what action, but also I tend to separate at that point paragraphs for the characters. That is one thing that bothers me when I read, and I've come across it so many times where I read a paragraph and then I reread it and then I have to like take it sentence by sentence for a third time to figure out who is doing what. And so that's one of the things that I find very important for clarity. And so that when I find it in my own writing, it irritates me to no end. So that's one of the things that I try and make sure that I truly focus on when I'm editing, is making sure that I know who is doing what and exactly which pronoun, exactly which person the pronoun is referring to. And I mean, there are rules for when that happens, but when you have multiple people that have the same pronoun, and you're trying to talk about both of them in the same paragraph, it gets very, very confusing. And so that's one of the things that I struggle with it. It irritates me. I want to fix it all in one. So that is one of the things that I am doing with this particular session, is fixing the pronouns and the names and figuring out, because sometimes I use names, sometimes I use nicknames, sometimes, descriptors of the characters rather than just to differentiate them, because it lacks clarity otherwise. So yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're fixing pronoun issues. Megan says that your current nonfiction read is The History of Human Rights. Ooh, I don't think I've heard of that one either. Who's it by? And dinner is ready for CB and about to get nommed on, and you're going to be working on a practice draft of chapter 1 for your nano book. Morgan also has dinner and is going to listen to 1989 Taylor's version while you eat. Finish your dinner. Also finish listening to Taylor's version for the millionth time today. You're now ready to get some writing done the next sprint, so there's that as well. CB says 295 words, and I'm working on eating dinner as well. Nice. Yes. Morgan says, I had the same struggle sometimes. I find myself thinking I'm repeating myself so much just to make sure it's clear which character is speaking. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why you tend to have names repeated so many times, or nicknames or things like that. But it does get very repetitive if you're only using names, because then your character's name shows up in every sentence, and it can be very annoying when you're reading it, because you're like, yes, I know all the names. Hello, can we move on to actually like what's happening? So you have to find a balance of using the names and descriptors. So yeah. Well, it's not even like which character is speaking. It's sometimes like which character is doing what. Because if you have two male characters and you know, so you say, I don't know, Simon says this, and then you have to the other character, and then you have he reached over and patted him on the head. Which he? Grammatically, the he should refer back to the last named or the last person referenced. So that like you have to kind of piecemeal through and figure out what were your intentions. If you wrote it a long time ago, what were your intentions? Who did you want to be doing this? And then figure out how you want to rephrase. Because, you know, you don't know what you're doing because, well, it's not even that it's not that you're uneducated. It's that the rules are very complicated and they change quite often. There are so many exceptions to things, and it's frustrating. So, but that's what I don't want to. I don't want it to be frustrating to read, which is why I have to go back and edit. So Megan Job hunted a bit during that sprint and worked on something for your Substack. Excellent. Okay, so The History of Human Rights from Ancient Times to the Globalization Era is by Michelin R. Ishay. Okay, I will have to see if I can find that and put it on my wish list. The scene you're working on right now is just before Thanos snapped the first time. Ooh, exciting. Okay. Spooky teapot or purple teapot? Which would you prefer for our second sprint? They're both 30 minutes. So spooky teapot, cauldron situation, or the purple teapot situation? Which would you prefer for our second sprint? Megan says, I have no preference. CB says, I didn't learn half the stuff I should have in school. I spent more time during your primary school in a classroom with learning support assistant doing, inane things of poor quality. So spooky and spooky. All right. Spooky it shall be. Okay, so the second sprint is your self-promo sprint. So if you have something you would like to promote, as long as it is writing adjacent, please do let us know. So that means if you have a YouTube channel, Twitch channel, Etsy store, Amazon author page, website, blog, social media handles that you would like to share, do let us know. Also, if you have a book that is recently out, soon to be coming out, or on sale, do let us know. And if you want to share your Nano handle, if you are interested in doing Nano and having Nano friends, Nano buddies, what do we call them? Buddies, yes. Do also let us know that. Just remember that if you do not have a blue wrench of power, like Megan has, you will not be able to post direct links. All right, that being said, here are your normal warnings. 1, save your document. 2, take a sip of whatever it is that you're hydrating with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That was that. I should have recorded where I was when I stopped for the first sprint. I think maybe here. I don't think that's right. It's too many words. I don't know. I think it was a decent sprint. I think I got more than 600. But again, I should have probably recorded where I was when I started. But I didn't. Again, because I'm editing and it's kind of, I get ridiculously large numbers sometimes when I'm editing. Because again, I'm not changing a huge amount. I'm just kind of going very carefully over each sentence to make sure things are clarified, make sure pronouns are good, make sure I've got my opening and closing quotation marks, all that kind of fun stuff. And just playing with diction, playing with word choice sometimes, because I'm, there's some sentences where I'm like, this just doesn't sound right. I don't know if it's like a particular word or a phrasing that I've used, and I just have to kind of like play with the sentence for like 5 to 7 to 17 times before I find something that I'm like, I guess that'll work. But yeah. Okay, so during that sprint, Hassan came in. Hello. Jen came in. Hello. Paget came in. Hiya. Welcome. And Musical Maggie. Hello. Welcome. So yeah, but also don't forget that was the second sprint. So if you have something that is writing adjacent that you would like to promote, please do so in the chat. Just remember, no direct links unless you have a blue ridge. Okay, so CB says all of my info is on my YouTube page under the same handle name. My nano nickname is TeamStark2905. My nano name, in case you want to find me, is just the Dawdling Writer. So same name as my handle here on YouTube. You can find me there. Megan says, check out everything I'm doing on the web here at the link tree. Megan has some cool Substack articles / essays that are pretty both entertaining and enlightening. So make sure you check Megan out. Jen is working on a story outline for a bit. Nice. Excellent. CB says, I made a Wednesday writing group appropriate version of the practice draft for your story. We meet in the children's library. Yeah, so all your swear words have to be tamed. Understood. Yes. Paget says, I'm reading chapters 16 and 17 that I wrote yesterday, and you're supposed to also be reading 18, but you've been reading what you wrote yesterday for an hour and a half. It always amazes you how it's impossible not to edit, right? Yeah, anytime I read through something, I find things to fix. So, yes, understood. You actually worked on your paper. Yay! It's up to 6 pages now. That's amazing. You're a little too interested in the history of psychology. I think some stuff is going to have to be cut. And that's fine. But if the paper is interesting to you, chances are it might also be interesting to your readers. So, but if it's sort of like tangent to the purpose of the paper, yeah, sometimes that has to go. I understood. Reading history for law school again. Gotcha. 432 words, and the snap just happened from Thanos. Nice. Excellent. I just hope that means if there's any little ears listening on Wednesday, they won't work out what the substitute words mean. I mean, kids are pretty good about figuring out things that they shouldn't be saying, but it depends. and some of the kids are used to it, some of the kids aren't. So it's going to be a mixed bag. But yeah, usually your group of adults for writing won't necessarily attract a whole lot of curious ears. Usually. Not always, but Megan job hunted again and worked on the thing for your Substack. Nice. Okay, so the history of the psychology is a little bit of a tangent, but literally every time you look into it, there's something absolutely wild that happened that is not common knowledge. Yeah, I mean, history and science, like, generally is really, really weird. And there have been some absolutely off-the-wall experiments that have been done in the name of science, in the name of psychology, in the name of whatever. And yeah, most of it is not common knowledge because they're a bit scary, a bit shady, and you know, generally medical professionals don't necessarily want us to know that their their predecessors did things like that. Yeah. So CB says, I don't even know why we meet in the children's library. Well, generally because it's a space that allows that kind of thing. There are not necessarily other places that would welcome a group without some sort of monetary exchange. So libraries are nice about that. Yeah, also maybe to make it accessible to people who have children, or the location is decently close by. Yeah. But I find that there's also, libraries are good about like trying to make a community, not just be like a housing warehouse for books, but really be a resource for community. And I find that a lot of times they will make sure that they have set aside an area or a study room or that kind of thing for groups. But they also have computers, and they have like the book reading programs and all that kind of stuff. But generally the libraries, are public libraries at least, are very good about trying to include the community or be accessible to the community in whatever shape or form that is. So there's an adult party. Yeah. Usually there are. Usually there are. I usually you don't have a kids library that's a separate building, unless you're at a university, in which case there might be. So, okay, let's do another sprinty sprint. We've done the 2 spooky teapots. Should we do, I guess we should continue with the spooky theme, right? Let's do the black cat. Do. Third sprint. All right, so here are your reminders. 1, save your document or back it up. 2, take a sip of whatever it is that you're hydrating with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take one. Here we go, 25 minutes, silent timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, sorry, I have to figure out how to clarify something. Okay. Okay, she says as she continues. Okay, save. I feel like I did a decent amount there, but I feel like it wasn't a huge amount. But I did finish one full chapter. So now I'm on to the next chapter. Yay. That's at least a bookmark that I can, or like a milestone that I can kind of be like, yeah, I did that. With editing, it's so much harder. I still haven't figured out whether or not I want to do like pages, chapters, scenes, like how I want to track editing. I know I should be tracking by whatever that milestone is, as well as time, just to kind of get a better idea of how long it takes me to edit a full manuscript, or like how much editing per 20,000 words or whatever. That way I can have kind of like a ballpark, a better idea of how long it's going to take me to do editing passes. So I really should be tracking that stuff, but I haven't. If anybody has a tracker that they use, or a particular like set of, I don't know if you have a spreadsheet, I don't know if you have a template, or like just like record certain things in your bullet journal or something, but like if you have a particular way that you track both milestones and time for editing that you like to do, let me know how you do that, because I'm looking for a way to make it more trackable for myself. So yeah. Anyway, also, here was my self promo that I forgot. If you're new and haven't subscribed, consider it, please. I'll leave it up to you, but consider it maybe. Heather says hello. You're straightening your creative area, and then you're going to be working on some art. Ooh, nice. You've got another market event this weekend. Ooh, fun. I think the most recent thing I've done is just, I got out my acrylic paint pens, and then I just made squares and like rectangles, and then I went around it with like a gold marker. It doesn't make any sense, but I was just like, I just kind of want to color in blocks. So I did. And I also found out which of my acrylic paint pens were dead. And so I did away with those. But yeah, so I was intending to do kind of like a blue-green gradient into the reds, but that did not work out because I am incapable of being consistent. That's one reason. But also because I found pens that were dead. So that's my most recent art thingy, because I was just like, I just want to color for a little bit. But no coloring in the lines. I'll make my own lines, just you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, CB said 50 words. Nice, excellent. You are also watching a documentary about Idina Menzel. Not gonna lie, she's one of my major theater heroes. That voice, she does have an amazing voice, for sure. Megan says, I'm enjoying the fall weather here. It's cool, but not too cool. You're also working on the thing for Substack that you can't talk about until next month. Yeah, this morning I woke up and like stuck my leg out of the cover and then immediately brought my leg back under the covers. I was like, I'm not ready for that. I did eventually have to get up, but yeah, that was an unexpected nip to the air in the house for sure. I think we're still on AC at the moment, so yeah. This was a really unproductive sprint. You were on social media most of the time. I wish you luck for the next one. Yes, thank you. And you made friends with the subscribe button. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Heather says, remember to click the like button. Yes, if you like, only if you want to. If you're editing from the screen, you can always change the color of the last word you edited to show where you stopped. That is, yeah, that's one way to do it. But I generally have a color code for notes, and that's generally what I use my color code for. But that is definitely, I might have to pick a color to do the last word. Yeah, I just have to remember to go back and fix all the things. You loathe editing. Yeah, but loathe is such a good word. It's a much better word choice than just hate, because it carries a much more visceral depth to it than hate has become. Thog recently woke up. Hello, welcome. Yeah, that is a good way to check pens. Yeah, it's just start coloring. You have the Broadway soundtrack of Wicked, and good grief, how she hits that last note in Defying Gravity. Yeah. You use sprints to track your time while editing for clients. When you find a stopping point, you make a note in the planner that you use for that purpose. Okay, so you have a planner for your client and editing work, and that's where, okay. Me, I can't wait to edit. I mean, editing can be fun, but at the same time, sometimes I look at something and I'm like, there are so many typos in here. There are so many things that need to be fixed. And I'm like, I don't wanna. So I procrastinate. But today I was doing pretty good. So I will say that. Okay, it is Friday, which means that Michael is usually on. Get and share the link for that, as always, or as I try to. I don't always do it. So there's the tiny URL for the spreadsheet. And okay, so Paper Tiger is already started with the daily stream number 1. So there's Paper Tiger. I should probably show this so that you know what I'm doing. Here we go. Okay. So I just popped in Paper Tigers, and then Michael's. There's Michael's. And then Jillian and Jamie they stream to their own channels, but they are both on stream, both on screen usually. So make sure that you follow both of them. And there's one of the links. And we didn't see Savvy in chat today, but Savvy sometimes has the Friday afternoon sprints. And yeah, so then we have a couple more in the 4 o'clock hour Kibby and creative sprints, and then Rachel at 4:30. And then some of the evening sprints have not been filled in, but they are the normals. So yeah. So, and then we have a couple of evenings as well. So if you feel like writing / editing / procrastinating more for today, they are there. So, Okay, Dog says, I've subscribed to them all plus a few more. Not all the ones on the list, just the ones that are linked. Yeah. I think I went through a while back. I need to go back through and make a note of any of the new channels that were added in the like actual channels list tab and subscribe to those as well, just to keep up with who's on AuthorTube. So yeah. All right, y'all. I do have to go to the store, so I will not be doing an additional sprinty sprint, but I will be back on Monday, and then I think I am going to do on Wednesday for a first day of Nano sprints fun time. So be the same time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon for my time. So yeah. All right, y'all. Yeah, OST is original soundtrack. Yeah. Okay, see, we got it already. Yes. Alrighty, y'all. Don't forget to save before you go. So hit that save button. And make sure that if you have consumed all of your hydration, go refill it before Michael's stream and all of that. So cheers. And don't forget, tomorrow's also full moon. So have a good weekend. I will see y'all soon. Bye.